In 2024, Kody and Robyn sold a house. According to Robyn, their house on Hashknife Trail, as it is known, sold for $1.7 million. The house was heavily highlighted on the program and remains the focus of a financial dispute involving Kody, Robyn, Janelle, and Mary. The fact that the house they were selling was in poor condition was something we didn't see on the episode. Additionally, Kody and Robyn had destroyed their deck and bathroom in just 5 years, and the construction they had to do to close on the house was the reason it took them so long to sell their house after buying a new one. The house couldn't pass an inspection, as the buyer insisted on repairs be done before the closing. Therefore, it needed to be fixed before it could be sold. Allow me to demonstrate. The issue isn't relocating to the new residence. We discovered issues with this house as soon as we made the decision to purchase the other one, and we had to fix them in order to sell it. Alright, so if you have never sold a house, let me walk you through this. Some of you may not have done this because he is discussing bananas. Alright, hiring a real estate agent is one of the first things you should do while preparing to sell your house. You locate a realtor who will serve as your listing agent and assist you in selling your house. In order to ascertain what has to be done to get your house ready for a listing, the realtor will probably want to walk through it and have a look at the cosmetics first. Alright, major problems in the house should generally be fixed before you list it for sale, because if they are left unfixed, they will affect the home's marketability and become a point of contention for either buyers or sellers who may be motivated to underbid you for the house without fixing the problems. For example, it may affect the cost. Kody and Robyn's house sold for $1.775, but Flagstaff was in a totally different place now. That includes more land in addition to the house. Therefore, I'm not sure how much the house actually sold for. A few of acres next to the property were included in the bundle that was sold. Having said that, his agent, Justin, ought to have accompanied him around the house and asked him to examine the situation. During that procedure, it was found that Kody's bathroom contained mold. There was black mold in the bathroom, but he won't tell you. The deck was collapsing, and it was seeping all the way down the walls. Therefore, they had to repair the entire railing. And he was attempting to sell the house with deferred maintenance, which most purchasers don't want. That is, he would sell it to you and let you fix it yourself. Unless they are searching for a fixer-upper, which is not what this is, they don't want to purchase a house that needs immediate repairs. I would like to clarify it immediately. Those issues haven't been fully resolved yet, and I've assured the buyer that I'll take care of this house, keeping an eye on the work until it's finished honestly and to his satisfaction. The cleanup business, sheetrock company, and tile company have all been on the spot, but the serious issue is all the bother. Alright, so this explains what happened. I need a remediation company, he replied. What does that signify? A remediation company is a business that enters a house to remove pollutants, contaminants that render a house hazardous and uninhabitable. The house had a serious black mold issue that needed to be completely fixed, not just in the bathroom, but also throughout the walls. And based on what seems to have happened, they had to undertake a remediation, which basically entailed destroying the entire shower, because that was where the leak was happening. They had to demolish something. They had to put everything up from scratch. However, the demolition is primarily done so that they can reach the mold and ensure that it is completely cleaned up and free of toxins before they retile it. After eliminating the impurities, they may proceed with the retiling, repairing any plumbing that need attention, installing fresh grout, and addressing the root of the issue. I believe the problem was a burst pipe behind the shower. I believe it was the rumor going about, or that they were unaware of the leak beneath the shower. I'm not sure. There it becomes really chilly, and to be honest, don't ask me. I have no idea. I will admit that they are a pain in the ass, because I have a walk-in shower. They're really lovely, however we're seeing identical problems with the drywall next to it, because water flicks off the walk-in. Additionally, it might still result in the drywall crumbling or pouring in, regardless of how dry you try to maintain the surface. We are now working on repairing our walk-in shower. Kody has mold, but we don't. However, that's what occurs if nothing is fixed. This indicates to me that Kody and Robyn had little interest in making the house better. When the house became problematic, all they wanted to do was leave. Additionally, it seems to me that they knew there was a mold problem and were simply looking to relocate. Their desire for a new beginning was not the reason. It was as a result of their mold issue. When the buyer and lender arrive, the mold is found, and since it is a health hazard, a home with a mold problem cannot be sold. It's not secure. Therefore, in order for other people to move in and live there safely, the house must be brought up to code and brought out. He's acting as though we had recently discovered this issue. He's lying, which is rather strange. The flooring business. These folks have collaborated with us in such a beautiful way. Therefore, before this house can be sold, a lot of work has to be done. Yes, it has been sold. Simply said, it won't close until those things are finished. In this episode, where the extra sequences were, I saw that Robyn was speaking to Kody in a very condensed manner. The first was when Kody said, "Wow, we got a sales offer or a sales agreement in 2 weeks, or our house sold in 2 weeks. I've never heard of that. My goodness. Are you serious?" At one point, there were homes on the market here that were listed and received an offer the same day. At one point, houses in Flagstaff were selling so quickly that it took days. 2 weeks is not too long. That is a nice thing. That's a quick sell after all. However, the house being sold is not the same as a sales offer. Additionally, Robyn's whole house in Vegas sold quickly. About 3 weeks passed. Thus, their house in Flagstaff nevertheless sold more quickly than this. Robyn like, "What?" She responds, "Well, the house is already sold." But he continues, "We still have a lot of work before this house can be sold. All it has to do is close. Well, let me play ticky-tack with you, Robyn, even if I won't like it here. It is not until the house closes that it is formally sold." I hate to admit it, but Kody is correct. A sales agreement was in place. It depended on their fixing that issue, after which the house would probably pass inspection, and when everything was finished, they would close and sell the house. Therefore, at that time, it was dependent rather than sold, contingent, not because the buyer, Kody, lacked funds. By the way, the buyer paid cash for this residence. They had to address the mold, which is why Kody is behaving as though it's really difficult to get someone to come out to a house and fix things. One of the rumors I heard at the time was that the real estate agent was telling folks as they passed by that he was having trouble getting someone in to fix the property, and that people would arrive and then leave or something. His next statement is, "These people have been on the spot. Kody, you need to quit acting like it's strange that you hire a contractor to perform the work and then they show up and finish it. When you pay contractors, they really do it. Whether they are remediators, home remodelers, or anything else. Getting someone out to a house is not that difficult. It's not as if they couldn't get folks out there because they lived so far out in the country. I believe they were attempting to get it done cheaply before the house sold or wanted to sell. Most likely by searching for someone who would charge less. I don't know. However, it would be untrue to argue that they had to act as though they were struggling. There could have been a cash flow issue. It may have been a cash flow issue caused by a reluctance to spend. Do you understand? As if there were a problem in your home. It doesn't have to be solved right away. You will simply sit on it then. Therefore, there is no pressing requirement. Like, I'll tell the truth. We have had this problem in our bathroom for a few years. But we have no intention of selling our home. Like, we're going to be here forever. Additionally, I dislike moving. Therefore, we don't want to move. The house can accommodate our belongings. The reason is that I don't want to live beyond my means. Being a billionaire is not necessary for me. A mansion is not necessary for me. I simply don't roll like that. Material things don't appeal to me. Even when I'm 47, I don't want to take out a huge mortgage. To put it simply, I want to pay off my house and be done with it. Do you understand? Therefore, there is no rush to have things corrected if you are not in an urgent situation. It's your house, therefore you don't have to fix it. You do not wish for it to collapse. However, I'm sure we can all go around our home and see things that need to be fixed. For example, I still have to paint 1.5 walls in my workplace. A year ago I painted, but I didn't finish because I ran out of paint. I just left one color on one wall and another on another. My dogs have scratched the doors of my house. I need to get my flooring repaired. The home has to be painted once again. For example, I have a child and we have animals, but I don't feel like addressing any of those things until some of the animals are gone. My child has grown up, and we aren't always creating a mess and tossing trash against the wall. Now when I think about my parents and aunts, I now see why they said, "We're not fixing anything until you guys leave." And now I completely get it. I understand. Children damage things. They hurl objects. They are covered in filth when they enter. They bang objects against walls. They have rough play. Simply said, it is what it is. You know, it's about having children and having joy. However, Kody and Robyn seldom remain somewhere long enough for such things to happen so quickly. Like to experience a serious mold issue over their 4 years there. That's rather quick. This indicates that they neglected to fix the leaky pipe beneath the shower or faucet when it needed to be fixed. Additionally, leaky pipes must be replaced right away. Like right away. When we first moved into our house, we had a problem with the dishwasher. It wasn't hooked up properly, and it wasn't connected to the island or the cabinet. As a result, it was shaking, which caused the pipe that connected the dishwasher to the sink to split, and it eventually went all the way into our basement ceiling. As if it needs to be fixed immediately. For example, we had to have drywall professionals come out immediately to correct it. However, it appears that they had a leak that was never addressed. You just cannot do it. And I just can't wait to watch how they'll end up destroying the house they currently reside in. They have a lot of children after all. Their homes shouldn't be damaged so quickly because they don't have any animals. Kody doesn't seem to care about maintaining his houses, in my opinion. Since he doesn't, I doubt that Kody truly sees his home as a permanent residence. It's just like his home. Do you understand? For example, Kody utilizes his houses as a means of earning money, such as the HELOC. He now owns $750,000 and is on an interest-only loan for around 10 years. He is also utilizing the property as a piggy bank, which is the exact opposite of what you should do if you are genuinely concerned about investing. And he says, I don't know, he doesn't appreciate or look at his residences because he just uses them temporarily. Additionally, the fact that they already have a fresh interest-only financing on their new house indicates to me that they are aware that their existing residence will not last and that they will likely acquire contamination. However, the entire film is inspiring me to address every problem in my home. What about you? Please let me know in the comments section below. Don't forget to give this video a positive rating. To ensure you never miss a video, please click the bell and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Best friends, goodbye.